Test. Test 1 2. I got nothing. Test 1 2 1 2. I can't hear anything. Test.
Those are the headphones.
Test. I got nothing. I got nothing here. I'm dead.
Yep. According to Glenn, we're on right now.
Well, welcome back to Blue Dragon basketball, everybody. As the Blue Dragons, after a 3-0 start, culminating with a big win on Tuesday night of this week down in Enid, 109-68, the Dragons find themselves off to a hot start and a very, very good one. A young basketball team, just a couple of returnees with any experience, and Steve Eck's kids have impressed so far. Today they'll participate in the Booster Club Classic. We are in Great Bend, as Glenn likes to call it, the house on the hill. And in just a few minutes, it'll be the Blue Dragons of Hutchinson matched against Spring Creek Academy. The Spring Creek Academy is located basically down in the Dallas area, officially in Plano, Texas. It'll be the Spartans against the Blue Dragons. Not a whole lot that we can tell you about Spring Creek Spartans. They have played a couple of games, but no information available on the internet about either of those teams. But, Steve, we can tell that they're a pretty good size matchup for the Blue Dragons.
Yeah, they're a team that can possibly go 6'10", 6'9", 6'9", 6'7", 6'7". A lot of international flavor. A couple of kids from Ohio, one from Texas, and one from Georgia. A younger bunch than maybe per se a Sunrise Christian. I know there are some true high school kids on this roster in talking with Barton Sports Information Director Todd Moore. But really, other than that, now here's the crazy thing. Tomorrow, they are going to play a doubleheader. They're driving to Pratt to play at 1 o'clock, then coming back here to play Barton tomorrow night, and then driving to El Dorado on Sunday to play Butler. So they're going to get a lot of basketball in a very short amount of time. But it's funny how the Blue Dragons get them fresh.
They better have young legs after that kind of a schedule. And not a whole lot of players on this team. Coach Austin Reddig bringing just 10 kids with him up north. And these young men are going to find out a lot about junior college basketball over the course of the next 48 hours, literally the next 48 hours.
Yeah, they're going to get a lot of playing time. But, it is a prep-type school, and they're trying to get them indoctrinated into this. Obviously, it's one of the newer ones, so we'll see what kind of format they use. We got to watch them during shoot-around when we were warming up, or getting the stuff ready for the women's broadcast, and there's some athleticism to them. They're not it's not a ragtag bunch, so it's going to be interesting to watch how this game develops.
Blue Dragon ladies, by the way, won that first game over Murray State. 88-65 was the final in that one. The Blue Dragon women now off to a 2-0 beginning. Hutchinson's men, after this game this afternoon, will be right back here tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. And they will play an old school, very familiar to Steve Eck. Steve Eck won a national championship at Redlands in Division II. He's now won one at Hutchinson in Division I. And those two schools will get together here tomorrow afternoon. By the way, I'm Rusty Hills, joined by Steve Carpenter, the fine SID of Hutchinson Community College. Glenn Grunwald, who would normally be with the Blue Dragons, returning from a church conference down in Texas. He'll be back over here tomorrow afternoon covering Hutchinson. Meanwhile, I'll be in Gowan Stadium with Blue Dragon football as the Blue Dragons try to pick up win number 9 of the 2018 campaign. Pretty good team from Iowa Central coming into Gowan Stadium. Steve, you saw Hutchinson on Tuesday night down in Enid. Dragons won pretty easily. How did you feel they played?
I saw a lot of good things. They got a little bit ragtag as the margin continued to grow. A lot of three-pointers, not a lot of offensive movement, but defensively, I thought they played very well all night long. Forced several turnovers, got a lot of easy breakaway, transition-type buckets, and I suspect that they could do that here if their guards are able to do anything in terms of defensive, what they did against NOC Enid, they could really create some trouble for Spring Creek in the early going and try to get an early deficit like they did on Tuesday.
All right, we're going to take a break, a 2-minute break for some of the fine folks that make these broadcasts possible on KWBW Radio. We'll return with tip-off, Hutchinson against Spring Creek, right after this. Well, quickly taking a look at the starting lineups in this contest. First of all, for the Blue Dragons, Coach Steve Eck, who every time he wins another basketball game, he sets another record. He's already the winningest coach of all at Hutchinson Community College in men's basketball. He'll go with Saquon Singleton. He is a 6'6" kid, a freshman out of the Bronx, New York, comes in averaging 7 points a game. Fred Othiambo, 7-footer, another freshman. This young man from Kenya, slightly built, getting better and better every game out. Most telling statistic about Fred Othiambo, 9 blocks in 3 games. He's also a very good interior passer and a good defender. Chris Giles is a 6'3" kid from Dallas, Texas. He averages 11.7. Raekwon Taylor, a returnee from last year out of Jamaica, New York. He's a 6'8" sophomore, averaging 11 a game. And James Rojas, also a returnee from a year ago, 6'8" from Jamestown, New York. He comes in averaging 15. Raekwon Taylor, 11. Chris Giles, 11.7. Those are the double-digit scorers for the Blue Dragons. For the Spring Creek Spartans, Antonio Romanelli is from Australia. He's a 5'10" youngster. Tyrus Ben Johnson, perhaps the team's best scorer. He's from Atlanta, Georgia, checks in at 6'5". Then it's a young man from Cameroon, 6'9", Abdul Rasul Hachim, joined by Donald Ray Garrett III, a young man from Dallas, Texas, 6'2". And the final starter for Coach Austin Reddick, Elijah Bishop from Columbus, Ohio. On this roster, Spring Creek has kids from Australia, Algeria, Cameroon, 2 more kids from Algeria, 1 from Nigeria, and 1 from Tunisia. Nice recruiting budget down there, Steve.
I would love to have that recruiting budget. So, an unknown game, Rusty. You just don't know what the other team has. You just have to go out and do what you do and adjust. That's really all the Blue Dragons can do in this one. You know, obviously tomorrow they're going to get a look at Redlands, but they, even though they haven't seen the Cougars, they still have a pretty good look and a chance to look at them, but no stats to speak of. So no game film to speak of. I mean, we're all going in blind, so all Steve Eck is telling the Blue Dragons to do right now is just go do what you do and do it well, and we'll make any kind of adjustments from there.
And another unusual aspect of this game, this will be probably the only time all year that we see these numbers on the floor. Number 6, number 8, number 9. You know, the officials in the college game are used to signaling fouls to the bench by using right hand, left hand. It's going to be a little more challenging in this one.
Yeah. Justin Sweetser, Scott Goodhart, and Chris Sundahl are going to be. They're so used to the college mechanic. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it. But yeah, these are the only time you ever see these types of numbers is in the NBA. There's college rule, high school rule that there can be no number above 5 either in the first digit or the second digit. So it'll be interesting. And also challenging uniforms for us even up here, Rusty. They got maybe 4 inch numbers on the front. So good luck with those.
Yeah, we'll have fun, as we hope you will too. Again, Glenn will be back with the Blue Dragons tomorrow afternoon. Steve and I will go to the football game tomorrow, a big one in Gowan Stadium. Hope a lot of you will plan on being on hand. Start thinking now about dressing warmly. It's not going to be a heat wave by any stretch of the imagination. It's supposed to be some wind blowing. Good football weather.
No precipitation, but a little wind out of the south, 46, 47 degrees. But yeah, that's football weather, so it should be a good game. I think the Blue Dragons are going to respond well. They were 18 seconds from a conference championship 1 week ago in Gowan Stadium, and in one play, that was it. They end up losing the game, but it'll be interesting to see how they fight back tomorrow, and I think they have a very good chance of responding well against Iowa Central.
They have to recover from the hangover of that loss, and that will not be an easy thing to do. This is the second of 5 straight games that the Blue Dragons will play away from the sports arena. Next week they'll be participating in a classic at Butler. Blue Dragons in red with blue numerals, and Spring Creek Spartans in black and white. Jumping center for the Blue Dragons will be Raekwon Taylor. He goes up against Abdul Rahul Hachim, and the Dragons scramble for the tip, and it's finally tracked down by Chris Giles. And Giles will bring it to the offensive end for the Blue Dragons, who look at a man-to-man defense in the early going. Aggressive man-to-man. Taylor has it up high. Drives on his man, takes it to the basket, got fouled en route. Won't be any free throw shot here. It was early in the drive. And we'll wait, and they'll tell us that the foul is on Hachim, his first.
I was looking for number 15. It was actually number 6.
Yep. We talked about the consternation that the officials are going to have. They actually do give free throws on the drive, and Taylor hits the first one.
Well, you get the feeling, Rusty, that with the very aggressive man defense by Spring Creek, the Dragons can just be patient and pick their drives to the hoop. That time, Raekwon very patient with the left-handed take to the hoop.
And he knocks both free throws down. This young man, again a returnee from last year's national tournament team, has made himself into a very solid free throw shooter. 11 of 13 now on the season. First chance for Spring Creek Spartans, and they have it out front. Dragons are man-to-man. Would you expect any different from a Steve Eck coach team? The ball almost slips away from Tyrus Ben Johnson. They retrieve, get it underneath the basket, and a wraparound layup. Pretty good job by Donald Garrett of controlling underneath and reversing it up and in under pressure. Game tied at 2. We've played 45 seconds. Top of the key, Raekwon Taylor lobs it inside and underthrows the pass. It's taken away. Spring Creek comes down. Dragons recover quickly on defense. Shot taken from the top of the key by Elijah Bishop. Bounds away. And Big Fred Othiambo comes up with a rebound. Dragons down the sideline. Rojas drives into the middle, lost it, got it back, tosses it to the wing. A 3 in the air, and it is off the mark by Chris Giles and rebounded out by Elijah Bishop. Bishop throws long, and the shot is blocked, put up in close by Hachim. Dragons get a block. Now they throw it the other end, and look what I found. Chris Giles lays it up and in.
Well, the Blue Dragons nearly get caught defensively, but the length of Fred Othiambo gets the block shot, taking away a clean layup from Spring Creek. Then on the other end, Chris Giles finishes.
Johnson takes it to the right side, plays it back high to Bishop. Now they go inside, and a hook shot in the paint doesn't go for Hutchinson, and it's rebounded away by the Dragons. Hutchinson with the early lead, 4-2. Taking it left is Saquon Singleton. Now they try to go inside and throw it away.
Turnover number 2 for the Dragons again. Dragons are going to have to be very patient until they really figure out exactly how defensively Spring Creek's going to play.
Fake three, and a drive to the inside, another block shot. Johnson faked the shot from the wing, got his man up in the air, drove the baseline, but got his shot rejected out of bounds. Big Fred doesn't like you bringing things into his area.
11 blocks now on the year. I have a funny feeling that Aaron Petway's career record could be in jeopardy.
I think you are right. They play it inside out, and a short-range jump won't fall for Ben Johnson. Rebound taken away by James Rojas for the Dragons. Rojas leaves it for Singleton, and Singleton slowly brings it up the floor. Back to Rojas on the wing. Out high to Giles. Now right side, now in the corner. Nice ball movement. Singleton moves in, takes a 15-footer. It doesn't go. Rebound in close by Rojas. Missed, got his rebound back. Goes up with it again, and a foul called this time will send Rojas to the free throw line to shoot 2.
I think that's going to be Hachim with his second. And it is. So Abdul Hachim with 2 fouls, and James Rojas worked the boards hard, picked up a couple of offensive boards before eventually getting fouled.
Free throw up and good, and this is kind of an amazing stat. This is the 4th game of the season for the Blue Dragons. That's the first free throw of the year for James Rojas.
He's had some opportunities, hasn't got him many calls, but James been playing a lot more on the perimeter as of late. I can see him going down low today and really getting to the line quite a bit.
Dragons hit both free throws, and a backcourt foul called as pressuring the inbounds a little bit over aggressively was Chris Giles. He'll pick up the foul. Hutchinson off to a 4-of-4 start at the free throw line, leading 6-2.
It'll be interesting, Rusty, how the Dragons attack. They had 12 three-pointers against NOC Enid amongst all the breakaway layups last week. I think Steve Beck really wants them to concentrate on getting the ball inside today.
Swinging it to the wing, Tyrus Ben Johnson tries to drive, but took a half a step before he put it on the floor. That's a turnover. Dragons leading 6-2, get it back with just under 3 minutes played.
First turnover against the Spartans, team out of Plano, Texas.
And it is Malik Jacobs who just checked in for the Dragons, handling out front to Singleton. And they work it down in the corner. Raquan Taylor now to Jacobs, drives inside, misses the drive, rebound taken away by Spring Creek Academy, and then a pass cross court broken up by the Dragons, who throw long, and Rojas misses in close. Are they going to call goaltending? Yep. Give credit for the basket to James Rojas.
He has 4, and the reason he got the basket is because he was hustling on defense. He had the initial deflection, and then instead of watching, he just took off down to the other end to score.
Open look for Donald Garrett results in a 3-pointer. Garrett has all 5 points for the Spartans of Spring Creek. It's 8-5 Dragons with 4.5 minutes, or actually 3.5 minutes played. Raquan Taylor on the side, Rojas out front. Rojas drives into the lane, floater up, crawling around the rim, and good. Rojas with 6 early points. 10-5 Hutchinson. Tyrus Johnson drives inside, kicks it back to the wing, and this time the 3 by Garrett is no good. Dragons throw long behind the pack. Singleton lays it up and in.
Dragons looking to run early and often. That time Malik Jacobs, a la a football quarterback, hits a streaking Zaquan Singleton for a layup.
And a timeout taken. We'll take the break to a 30-second timeout with Hutchinson leading 12-5. Well, the Blue Dragons up 12-5 here in the early stages. Steve, Hutchinson obviously looking to get it down the floor in a hurry.
Yeah, they're looking to run early and often. 4 of 8 from the field in the early going. Spring Creek 2 of 8, and Hutchinson's really jumping on any missed opportunity by Spring Creek, sprinting down the floor. That time, Saquon Singleton with a nice catch and finish on the transition.
William Thumb, a young man from Algeria, came into the lineup. Dragons come up with the basketball, and they get it inside, and Rojas scores, and he's fouled. Big James off to an 8-point start. He is averaging 2 points a minute and has a free throw coming.
Saquon Singleton was just quietly standing there and all of a sudden jumped the inbounds pass lane and then fed a streaking James Rojas to the hoop. Very, very good start for James. He's got a good look, taking it to the hoop aggressively. Chance at an and one here already with 8 points in the book.
Young man who set all kinds of scoring records as a high school player back in Jamestown, New York, buries the free throw. He has 9 early points, and the Dragons already up double digits with just over 4 minutes played. Spartans looking for defense, and the ball gets knocked away. Dragons thought it was going to be their basketball. The official does not concur, said it was tipped out of bounds. So it will stay with the Spartans. Garrett will inbound, baseline right. Looking, tosses it in. It's fumbled, but picked up by William Thumb. Thumb drives into the paint, forces it up another block inside by the Dragons, taken away. Dragons sideline quickly. Now drive into the paint all the way to the basket, and a foul called. This team is not quick enough to get down the floor and guard the Dragons. That was a nice penetration move to the basket by Malik Jacobs.
And on the defensive end, that time Raekwon Taylor with the block shot. There's a lot of length on this team that's going to cause teams all kinds of problems in the paint as the season goes on.
Dragons inbound. Rojas has it in close, tosses it back, wing left, ball pops up in here. Scramble one by the Dragons. Jacobs comes up with it, goes top of the key. Top of the key jumper doesn't go by Raekwon Taylor, and a foul on the rebound.
Can be a double foul called. Fredo Thiambo will pick up one of them, and I believe Bedria Dean will pick up the other. But a double foul called on the rebound.
Unusual to see a double foul called in that situation. Usually they come when 2 players are jockeying for position underneath the basket, and the official finally gets tired of it and says, I'm tired of trying to sort this out. I'm going to give each one of you a foul.
You know, Spring Creek already with 5 team fouls. Hutch with just 2. We're not even 5 minutes into this one.
Yeah, the arrow gives the ball back to Spring Creek. Bringing it up, Tyrus Johnson, guarded by Saquon Singleton. Johnson angles to the right side on the dribble. Both teams have tried exclusively man-to-man. There's a nice move to the basket. Ben Johnson got loose and scored.
Just took a crossover move, went left to right, and blew right past Saquon Singleton for the basket.
Singleton plays inside Jacobs. Jacobs can't handle it, and it's taken away by the Spartans of Spring Creek. They throw sideline to Thumb. Thumb looking for a driving angle. Dragons won't give it to him. Goes cross court with it. There's a drive and a bank shot in close, not good, but a foul will send the Spartans to the free throw line in the person of Donald Garrett.
Foul called on Boubacar Kamasoko. His first. He's just into the ball game. Right now, one thing that's got to be a little disturbing for Steve Eck and the coaching staff, right now the Dragons getting beat off the dribble.
Free throw is up and good. So Garrett continues his good start for the Spartans. He has 6. Dragons 15, Spartans 8. And perhaps responding to your thoughts about the Dragons getting beaten off the dribble, DJ Mitchell checks in as the second free throw by Garrett is successful. 15-9, a little over 5 minutes in. And now we're going to see a zone on the part of the Spartans. Singleton distributes it to the right, gets it back on the point, drives inside, flips it back outside to Mitchell. Now Rojas has it in the corner. Rojas tries to drive, bounces inside, got stripped of it, got it back, swings it outside, and the 3 is in the air and off the mark. And rebound goes out of bounds to Spring Creek. And taking a shot was DJ Mitchell from the left wing.
Like I said, the Blue Dragons hit 12 of 27 three-pointers on Tuesday down in Enid. For the year, they're 38.9, but that's a little bit overinflated because the first 2 games at home, last week, the Dragons did not shoot particularly well from distance.
And I don't think that Dragons could double team out front, get a takeaway, and then they turn it over at the other end. Dragons got it taken away. Raquan Taylor turned it over at the other end. Now the Dragons get it back on a steal of a long pass to forecourt. Rojas bounces down the side of the lane, back outside Singleton. Now it is off to Malik Jacobs. His teardrop in the lane is up and good. Malik Jacobs scoring for Hutchinson to make it 17-9.
Very good body control by Malik Jacobs. Took it into the lane with the left hand and just hit a little teardrop floater. And the Dragons now up by 8.
William Fum comes top of the key, plays off to Johnson. Johnson on the left side, fakes the three, drives inside, brings it up high to Malak. Then they turn it over, trying to get it down on the baseline. On the run, Saquon Singleton pulls up from the free throw line. Shot too hard. Rebound tapped around, controlled by DJ Mitchell for the Dragons. And the Dragons swing it out high and will reset the offense with 7 minutes played. In the middle of the floor, Raquan Taylor, backhand pass down on the sideline to DJ Mitchell. He can't convert, and the rebound taken away by the Spartans. Handling is Ben Johnson. Johnson drives, got it stripped away by Rojas. Rojas quickly ahead to DJ Mitchell. Mitchell drives in, scores, and is fouled.
You got to like the way, just the mentality that James Rojas is bringing into this opening 8 minutes or so. He is very focused on what he's doing, not trying to do too much, but taking what's there. That time, great defensive work on the boards, getting it ahead of DJ Mitchell for the finish and the foul.
Yeah, William Fum fouled him. Sound almost like a tongue twister. And to the free throw line, DJ Mitchell trying to finish off the old-fashioned three-point play. Free throw is up and crawls in.
Already 6 different Dragons have scored in a 20-9 lead. Hutchinson at this point is shooting there it is, 7 for 15. So a bit of a percentage-wise, a little bit of slow, but they're gaining ground.
They're getting a lot of takeaways with aggressive defense. Up high, Elijah Bishop lost the handle on it. Bishop got it back, able to get it off to Fum on the right sideline. He'll bring it out front. Shot clock at 6. Fum trying to create, goes behind a pick, throws it up high. And they don't get it off. Nice defensive series for the Dragons, and they'll get a turnover as a result. And we'll have a timeout taken. 12:19 to play in the first half, 20-9. This will be a 30-second timeout. Dragons able to get it done at the defensive end, and although they haven't really made any jump shots to speak of, they've been able to get it to the basket with a lot of consistency.
Yeah, Hutchinson shooting 7 of 15, but 6 of 6 from the free throw line. That is excellent news for Hutchinson fans. Spring Creek 3 of 10, and they have committed 6 turnovers. So the Dragons doing the job defensively to this point.
Tyler Brown in the Blue Dragon lineup. Dragons get it to Mitchell. Mitchell, there's a jump shot, true jump shot from about 12 feet out. DJ Mitchell hits, and he has 5.
DJ just flashed across the lane from the weak side, caught it, spun, and shot. It hit it pure.
Romanelli to Fum. Fum aggressively guarded, takes a fall-away shot and got it to go. Nice shot by William Fum.
Yeah. The Blue Dragons are going to get a lot of one-on-one defense today because it doesn't look like Spring Creek runs a lot of sets.
Skip pass to the corner, Tyler Brown for 3. Good. That was expected to be his role on this Blue Dragon basketball team. Good shooter from Derby, Tyler Brown.
He had a couple down at NOC Enid, starting to gain some confidence with that shot.
25-11. High pass to the side, controlled by Romanelli. Romanelli brings it back out front. Shot clock at 10. Romanelli has it way out high. Now on the left side to Fum. Fum crosses over, tosses it down deep, and a travel called as Jarclay Kaniki was trying to back in and got the job done, but not legally.
Fred Osiombo and Josh Perkins created a nice double team on the low block that created that turnover. It was a good give and go.
There's a alley-oop, beautifully thrown, and Osiombo converts.
Osiombo the 7th Blue Dragon to score. Dragons up 27-11.
Moving toward the middle of the first half, William Fum. Now back top of the key. Jumper from there is off the mark, and the rebound snared by the Blue Dragons. Shovel pass ahead actually was knocked out of the Blue Dragon's hand, I thought.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, I think we're getting an overturn.
Get it right. Dragons were started toward forecourt and tried to throw an underhand pass, and it was knocked out of the Dragons' hands.
Yeah.
Hutchinson will keep it.
Elijah Bishop came from behind and knocked the ball forward, and thus the overturn.
Ball inbounded. Jacobs drives, puts it up with the left hand. Bank shot doesn't go. Rebounds grabbed by Jacobs. Now Dragons move inside, turn it over. Josh Perkins couldn't handle, and the Spartans are going to get an easy one at the other end of the floor from Elijah Bishop. 27-13, Dragons playing aggressively. That time didn't have anybody back to cover, and it was a chippy for Bishop. Halfway through the first half, 27-13 Hutch. There's another drive to the basket and another conversion. Dragons able to get to the basket way too easy, and they get a takeaway. It is Jacobs in close, doesn't get it, and the rebound knocked out of bounds.
On the shot before is DJ Mitchell, once again being aggressive to the hoop, scoring. He has 7 now, and then Malik Jacobs got the steal right off the inbound. Dragons couldn't finish that basket, and I think we're going to get a media timeout. I believe that's what we're going to get.
All right, let's take the media timeout as well. This will be a 1-minute break with Hutchinson up 29-13. Again, a reminder, the Blue Dragons will play again tomorrow afternoon. It'll be Hutchinson against Redlands. That'll be a 3 o'clock tip. Hope a bunch of you will be in Gown Stadium following Blue Dragon football and listening. But if you're over here, listen to us from the stadium. Nice to have 2 options. There's a set shot, top of the key, does not go. Taken by Ben Johnson. Dragons grab the rebound. There's a drive to the basket and a foul called. Boy, everybody in a Blue Dragon uniform is able to get to the rim. It'll be Chris Giles this time rewarded with a couple of free throws.
And when you see a 7-footer like Fred Osiombo taking down the floor, all 5 just went on a split second. That's something special to watch.
Well, when he was recruited, the story on Fred Osiombo, going to have to develop some offensive skills, but really can run the floor, and he does get down the floor very quickly for a 7-footer.
Obviously, the shot blocking and the rebounding are there, and once he really learns his footwork, he'll become even better rebounder.
Giles goes 2 of 2 at the free throw line, continuing to extend the Blue Dragon advantage, which now has grown to 18 at 31-13.
Dragons a perfect 8 for 8 from the line.
Romanelli handles on the outside, almost lost it, got it back, and now a foul down on the baseline against the Blue Dragons.
Malik Jacobs whistle for his first foul, the third.
Actually, they're going to call that on Malik. They're going to call that on Josh Perkins. Ball played in by the Spartans. Johnson works for a shot, puts it up, doesn't get it. And a rebound knocked out of Perkins' hand, out of bounds. It'll go to the Blue Dragons.
Turnover count, 10 for Spring Creek, 5 for the Blue Dragons. Hutchinson shooting 11 out of 21 from the field. Spring Creek now 5 of 14.
Chris Giles plays on the left side of the floor to Mitchell. Now Big Fred handles at the top of the key. Nice pass down inside to Tyler Brown. Might have thrown it a little bit too low. Big scramble for the ball, and it's going to wind up going to Spring Creek.
That'll be turnover number 6. Good idea by Fred. Just delivered a pass a little bit too low for Tyler Brown, which was down at his ankles, and he couldn't control it.
Bishop plays out front. Now top of the key, it's Hutchinson. Now right side of the floor, Johnson drives underneath, can't reverse it up. Stolen away by the Blue Dragons. Nice steal by Tyler Brown. And now the ball knocked out of bounds, lost out of bounds by Hutchinson. So both teams a little bit sloppy. They exchange turnovers.
Now 11 turnovers. That one of the turnover before, great anticipation by Tyler Brown, jumping that passing lane down in the corner. And unfortunately, DJ Mitchell trying to speed it up the floor, dribbled it off his foot.
Hutchinson goes inside to Johnson. Johnson backing in. Misses. Foul on the rebound. This will go against Hutchinson. Nice move to the basket for the rebound. Adel Melik, 6'10" kid from Algeria, and he'll be rewarded with free throws. That'll be the second foul on Josh Perkins.
Josh Perkins did not get a body on Melik, and unfortunately he commits the foul. Melik hits the first free throw.
You heard Steve tell you at the outset, this is the first of 4 games that this team will play over the course of the next, let's say 30 hours. Amazing.
Yeah, they're going to be busy. If they want experience, they're getting it this weekend in Kansas.
Second free throw bounces away, but it is rebounded by Elijah Bishop. And a shot inside won't go. And now Fred gets a block. Again, a rebound by Spring Creek. Romanelli fires from the wing, misses a 3. Othiambo ricochets the rebound to Tyler Brown. Nice pass up the floor and a foul on a drive to the basket. Boy, that was a nice lead pass by Tyler Brown to keep the Dragon break going.
He fit it into a small window, a la an NFL quarterback, and DJ Mitchell made a nice catch, fouled on the way in, so this will be a 1-and-1 and not a 2-shot foul.
Mitchell already with 7 in the game, and the free throw is good. Dragons continue perfect at the free throw line.
That foul was the second whistled on Tyrus Johnson.
Another charity coming for DJ Mitchell. Dragons cruising. And the second free throw is good. 3, 6, 8, 10 of 10 free throwing for Hutchinson here in the first half. That was one of the concerns that some people had in the early couple of games in the sports arena when the Dragons weren't very proficient at the free throw line. That's one of those things that just takes a while to develop sometimes.
You just practice, repetition, keep working on it in the gym, away from games, and eventually it's going to happen.
Jump stop, shot in the lane, doesn't go for Johnson. Offensively rebounded by Spring Creek. Now the ball loose, and they're going to say Rojas was the last to touch it. Goes out of bounds.
I actually call a foul on James Rojas. It'll be his first, the team's 5th. If he reaches behind, that's not a foul, but he came across, barely got the ball, but got a lot of body on the Spring Creek player, thus the foul.
No free throws. Johnson inbounds. Hutchinson has it. Gives it back to Johnson. Johnson on that sideline. Tries to work against Big Fred, who retreats to the inside to cover underneath the basket. Ball on the perimeter by Sand Creek. Romanelli has it. And an illegal screen.
And that was your classic variety moving screen. That will be Adel Melik with his first foul. Turnover number 12. He was never set once. He came up, basically put the body on, did not hold his spot for at least a second, and rolled to the basket. That is the classic illegal screen. So the Dragons have the ball up 19.
A little over 7 minutes to play as Chris Giles handles on the wing. Giles drives by his man all the way to the window and good.
Giles now with six. Nice left-handed take. Up and under, kind of dipsy-do move right at the end. You have a good shot at the finish.
There's a teardrop floater by Ben Johnson at the other end that makes it 35-16.
The Spring Creek team has some athleticism. If you let them, they can get into you pretty good if you don't play good defense one-on-one. A lot of dribble penetration the Dragons have to contend with. And that gets, if you continue to do that, it just gets tougher and tougher as the day goes on.
Osiambo pass across the lane, now back out front. Good ball movement by the Dragons. Ball fumbled, shot up in traffic, good. Chris Giles never looked like he had control of it, threw it up with a left hand. It goes for the young man from Dallas, Texas, and it is accompanied by a foul, so a three-point opportunity for Chris Giles.
Dorclay Kaniki with his first foul. And you're right, Rusty. Chris never had any control of the ball into the lane. He finally picked it up, scoop shotted it up and in, and has a chance at an and one.
And there's the first miss of the game for the Dragons at a free throw line. And Spring Creek comes up with the carom, trailing the Dragons 37-16. Johnson inside, tried to do too much himself, taken away by the Dragons. Lead pass to Tyler Brown, tried to dunk it, didn't get it high enough off the rim. Taken away by the Spartans of Spring Creek. Romanelli, angle dribble from right to left across the floor. Plays to Hutchinson. Now in the deep right-hand corner, there's a baseline drive all the way to the window, and a nice move by Elijah Bishop gives him his second basket. 37-18.
Last couple minutes, the Dragons have been getting beat a little more defensively. Haven't rebounded near as strong either. They've been giving up several offensive rebounds that they're going to have to clean up.
Rojas bounces to the baseline, misses the shot, taken away by Romanelli. Romanelli tries to pass it to the wing, taken by the Blue Dragons, and Rojas misses a dunk. The Dragons have missed two of those. There's a block shot as Komisoko came up with a rebound, and now Spring Creek comes up with it and scores at the other end. Tyrus Ben Johnson and Steve Eck not very happy with that little flurry. 5:24 to go in the first half, 37-20, a Hutchinson timeout, and a 30-second break for our sponsors. Well, I think I have a real treat, Steve, for Hutchinson fans at halftime of this game. Craig Fletcher, longtime coach here at Barton, will be our halftime guest. I've known Craig forever. Good guy. Some interesting times in the series between these two schools.
Fletcher's one of a kind.
Dragons miss a shot, get an offensive rebound, triggering from the corner. Rojas misses a three. It's tapped out front. Hutchinson keeps it alive. Now Raekwon Taylor spins, comes back to the top of the key. Komisoko puts up a three, which is way off the mark, and a foul for the rebound. It'll go against Rojas. That's a foul the coach doesn't mind. Hustle foul. Rojas diving for the ball on the floor. Gets charged with number 2.
The 6th team foul against the Dragons. Right now, the Dragons have kind of gotten away from what built them this lead. Good ball movement on the offensive end. Right now, it's a lot of one-on-one, kind of selfish type play. Defensively, not nearly as sharp, getting beat to the hoop. And again, the rebounding, not nearly as strong. Right now, it's a Spring Creek is actually out-rebounding Hutchinson 17-15.
That's a little hard to understand. There's a free throw line jumper that is good by Elijah Bishop. He has half a dozen. And all of a sudden, the Dragon lead is just 15. Sideline pass to Saquon Singleton. Dragons will try to get back in their offense now. Lob it down deep, bring it back out high. Singleton, 18-footer head on, is no good. And a rebound cleared by Elijah Bishop.
Dragons settling for another outside shot.
Johnson puts up an unguarded three, missed it. Othiambo, the rebound for the Dragons, gives it to Komisoko, and Boubacar brings it to the offensive end for Hutch. Off to Giles. Now Singleton. Singleton drives to the window. Missed it, but there for the easy follow, Fred Othiambo. His second basket. 39-22 Hutch, 3:40 to play in the first half. There's some sloppy defense by the Dragons. An open look from the wing. Doesn't fall, though, for William Fum. Actually, it did go in.
Bounced out, hit the front iron, and dropped back in. So Fum has 5, 39-24 Hutch.
3:25 to play. Set shot 3 for the Blue Dragons is good by Chris Giles. Giles is a good three-point shooter. With that shot, he's made 6 of 12.
He's got 11 in this one.
And there's an answering tray out of the corner at the other end, and another Hutchinson timeout. As completely unattended was Elijah Bishop. We'll take 30 seconds. Be right back. It is one of those games, Steve, where you never feel like the Blue Dragons are in any danger of losing control, but they are having some moments where they aren't playing very smart.
And it's just a loss of focus, and it's costing Hutchinson right now. A big lead is dwindled down to 15.
Saquon Singleton drives, misses. 2 Dragons there for the follow, either Raekwon Taylor or Big Ben. I think they'll give it to Raekwon.
Yeah, they gave it to Fred Othiambo, who has 7 rebounds to go with his 6 points.
Down deep, short-range shot won't go for Adele Mellick, but it is out of bounds to Spring Creek.
Again, the Dragons not getting the job done, blocking out.
Well, this
Hutchinson
is a team,
being out rebounded.
Yeah, this is a team that has some size. If you don't put a body on them. Ball inbounded to Fum. Fum being dealt with by Chris Giles out front. One hands it off to Hachim. Now they weave it out front. Bishop fires from long range, misses inside rebound position for Raekwon Taylor. Dragons come away with the carom. 2:15 to play as Giles works between the circles. Leaves it for Komisoko. That's Raekwon Taylor going back door, left hands it up and in. There's some nice teamwork. Raekwon handles a nice pass and converts. That's his first field goal.
Raekwon just giving the little pass up to Singleton and immediately cutting to the hoop, finishing with the left hand.
46-27 Dragons, 1:45 to play. Dragons try to defend the inside, and the ball fumbled away, retrieved by Spring Creek, and then a foul on a drive to the basket. This will be a trip on Saquon Singleton.
And that was unfortunate. Saquon was just kind of caught in no man's land. Again, earlier you saw Chris Giles kind of fumble the ball, wound up with a basket out of it. This time, Saquon Singleton, the ball was loose in the, for Spring Creek. He just tried to defend and ended up committing a foul on a. It was just unfortunate, wrong place at the wrong time for Saquon.
Free throw is good. That is Elijah Bishop at the free throw line. He's having a nice first half. That's his 10th point.
Nice looking left-handed shooter. He looks, he's got a little bit of Pooh Gary in him with that left hand, kind of soft. Pooh Gary had a very similar type shot.
Both free throws good. 46-28 Hutch. Blue Dragon women won the night's first game over Murray State, 88-65. Dragons lob inside. Othiambo with the catch and the conversion.
I think Steve Eck out of that last third, he said, get the ball inside and enough of this outside stuff. Dragons much more effective when they work inside out offensively.
Fum has it. Free throw line extended left side, drives into the paint, forces a shot up. Not a good shot at all, and the rebound cleared away by the Dragons. Quickly out to Komisoko, down to Saquon Singleton, running the floor beautifully, and Singleton has his 4th point And the Blue Dragons have put half 100 up with a minute to play.
That layup started with another Fred Othiambo block shot, this time coming from out at the top of the key.
Fum fires from the right side, knocks down a three. William has his 7th point, 50-31. Dragons with the possession. Down to Othiambo, turns, got the ball knocked loose, and it goes out of bounds. Touched last by Spring Creek. Blue Dragons will play it in. 18 shot clock.
Good effort by the Dragons, just kind of up and down execution, and that'll be discussed at halftime as Hutchinson tries to close this half out strong.
Giles, open look at three, and people are going to learn you can't give Chris Giles that look. He continues with a big half of basketball with his 2nd three-pointer. 3-point answer at the other end by Garrett is not good. Dragons come away with the rebound. They toss it up the floor. Singleton spins, dishes it off beautifully to Othiambo for the finish. What a play by Saquon Singleton, and what an exclamation point to the first half by Fred Othiambo.
That was the assist of the year right there. What a play by Saquon, just leaving it right for Fred, who flushed it at the buzzer.
Halftime is here, and the Blue Dragons cruising 55-31. We'll take a 2-minute break, be back with the Medicine Shop game capsule and a chat with Craig Fletcher, the coach of the Barton County Cougars. All that coming up in 2.
Coming up this evening, your Barton Community College Lady Cougars down there will be taking on the Northeastern Oklahoma Lady Norse at 5:30 this evening. Nice picture, Fletch. Following the Lady Cougars, the men's team here at Barton Community College will tip off at 7:30 this evening as they face the Redlands Cougars in the nightcap game. Basketball all day, the rest of the day, and all day tomorrow, right here at Barton Community College.
Did he set one? No. Usually he does the limits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, he'll be like, I want you to check it in. They'll be like, no. I do like getting along with that too. He's like trash, foot line. Yeah, because they're always going to be like, oh, no, you're not very good. Yeah.
Have you had your flu shot? Have you gotten your Shingrix vaccination? I'm looking at you, Steve.
Oh, I actually have not, but I have plans here in the next couple of weeks. So
Both of those, you know, are things that you need to do. Shingrix will protect you against a disease you don't want to get. Shingles, very, very painful. And a flu shot, well, flu is just a part of the winter season in Kansas, and if you can avoid it, you are way better off to do so. If you're just looking for an outstanding pharmacy, check out the Medicine Shop. You'll find it at 14th and Main. Competitive prices, free delivery. All of the above-mentioned shots. Lacey has as soft a touch as anybody in Hutchinson. You will like your experiences at the Medicine Shop. Carp, how about a quick look at the first half statistically?
Not too shabby in terms of the Blue Dragons. 21 of 41. That's just a shade over 50%. 3 of 7 from three-point range. All those coming from Chris Giles. 10 of 11 from the free throw line. That is a nice number in and of itself. Spring Creek shooting 12 of 33. 4 of 9 from three-point range. 5 of 6 from the foul line. The rebounds are finally back in the favor of the Blue Dragons, 23 to 20. 13 turnovers to Spring Creek to 7 for Hutchinson. Individually, very nice balance once again as Chris Giles leads the way, a pair of three-pointers, 14 points, 10 points for Fred Othiambo, who also has 8 rebounds in the early going. DJ Mitchell with 9. Also James Rojas with 10. He had a very nice start. And then it drops off Saquon Singleton, Raekwon Taylor with 4 each, Tyler Brown with 3, Malik Jacobs with 2. For Spring Creek, they are led by Elijah Bishop's 11 points. He had a very nice first half. Donald Ray Garrett with 7 points. Tyrus Ben Johnson with 6. Also William Fum with a three-pointer and 7 points. 1 point for Adele Malik. And the Blue Dragons lead at halftime 55-31. Again, a bit uneven, but overall the talent showing and the Blue Dragons taking care of business like they wanted to.
All right, we're going to take a 1-minute break, give Coach Fletcher an opportunity to get situated here. And we will talk to the head man, one of the colorful figures in the Jayhawk Conference. That 1 minute away.
You say colorful. Check that.
We are in Cougar Gymnasium, and we have the opportunity to visit with Craig Fletcher, the basketball coach of the year in two-year colleges a year ago. A young man that I've watched for a long, long time, and he has accomplished a lot. Colorful figure. And, Coach, you're not disappointing us. You're dressed in pink and black. You look like you came right straight from Woodstock. Now I'm dating myself.
Oh, and that was the best music too, Rusty. You know that. That was the best music of all time. Yeah, I think I'm a month late on breast cancer awareness, but everybody tells me I look good in pink, so I'll probably wear this around a little bit. Good to see you guys over here.
It was 1985. Young, still wet behind the ears basketball coach took over at Trinity in Hutchinson, Kansas. That was just 33 years ago. Do you have any idea, Craig, that that start at Trinity in Hutchinson, Kansas was going to lead the way it has?
No, not at all. Not at all. I have a lot of faith, and I've lived a charmed life all the way through, and Hutchinson was always good to me. It's a great community to grow up in, and then to be able to coach there right out of the gate was just a blessing I'll never be able to repay. And it was a great experience. 22 years old, yeah, absolutely wet behind the ears, just kind of rolled the ball out, and really fortunate that they left a really good group for me. I inherited some players, and that's half the battle. So,
won a state championship there. Just what, second or third year?
Second year, yeah. And it's the last time I've won the last game of the year, and that was my second year of coaching. So it's hard to win that last game of the year, Rusty. You know, only one team gets to do that, and had a really neat group of people. And
you remember some of those kids on that team?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Remember them all, and even remember some of the losses and all the mannerisms. And I had our guys wear knee pads. Marion Heim always gives me a hard time because he always tells me I should break out the knee pads before I retire. But yeah, it was a really good group, a scrappy group, and you know, being a Hutch High guy and growing up, and you know, I always knew of the Celtics, but you know, I was so focused and locked in on Salt Hawk, Lore, and then to go over there and see what they've done, and they've continued to do well. I see their football team still alive in the playoffs. I think tonight. I think they play Hoisington tonight. So it's always good. Keep in touch with a lot of those people, and it's a great start to my career.
There are a lot of professions where really there's only one way to learn to do it, and that's to get involved. Experience is truly the best teacher when it comes to coaching basketball. What are some of the early lessons you learned as a basketball coach?
You're exactly right. I go back to student teaching before I taught, and it's exactly what you said. You can spend all that time you want, but when you get thrown into a classroom, you learn on the fly. And obviously, coaching is just a different lab. It's a part of education, and made a lot of mistakes early. As I said, we had a lot of talent. I was pretty confident in my abilities, but I think just being young and kind of abrasive and just trying to learn. When you're coming in there at that age and you've got kids that are just a few years younger than me and they've paid their dues and played all the way up, and you've got a lot of parental involvement and things, nowhere near like today with the MAYB culture and Little League whatnot. But it was that was probably what I didn't handle as well. It was just the parenting and just dealing with the kids and the politics. And as time goes on, I've learned to appreciate that, having my own kids.
Isn't it funny? You start out in a profession, as you did very young as a coach, as I did very young as a teacher, long career of teaching, and you have to prove yourself to the kids because you're not more than, 3 or 4 years older than some of the kids that you're coaching or teaching. And now you get into the game. You've been in it for 30 years or so. I've been in it longer than that. You have to be able to relate to kids in order to coach them, in order to teach them. How do you handle the challenge as you get older?
A lot like what they say about you, Rusty. I'm young at heart, and being around young kids year in and year out and having 2 teenage daughters at home, you just have to improvise and adapt. Is that what they say? And adjust, and just blessed that I can still kind of speak their language and be a part of that culture, because it's hard. And you see coaches all the time that they get removed because they can't move on to that next decade. And here we are, as you mentioned, 2-3 decades of kids, lots of change, social media. There's just a lot of things that we deal with now that I didn't when I was at Trinity. And if you don't embrace that, then you're going to be left in the dust. And if that would have happened, I probably would have got out on my own long before somebody told me to move on.
How big a deal was it for you, Craig, to get a basketball team to the national tournament last year?
I got lots of – it was awesome. It was the highlight of my coaching career without a doubt, that my mother could be there and my family. And but the thing is, going through it, I just – we do this enough, and you have different groups of kids every year, and it probably went too fast, but we enjoyed the experience. But, Rusty, that was one of those groups every year. You certain years you have teams that you just want them to do well because of the type of kids they are and the type of character they are. And if there was a team that I've had in all my years, that was the team, because of the chemistry and what they brought to practice every day and their mentality and how they handled the coursework and classes, and just they're really good people. And I've had a good group of kids along the way, but I was probably as happy for them as anything else. Now, then you throw that fact that I was from Hutchinson. I got a lot of attention, but it really was not about me. It was about those kids, and to go in there and win a couple games and still be alive. That last weekend was kind of nice, and it's probably not going to happen again, and I'm going to treasure that forever. But I think it's one of those things, Rusty, that you don't probably appreciate that until time goes by. And I'm going to look at that week of Hutch in the tournament very fondly the rest of my career.
One of the great rivalries in the Jayhawk Conference has been Hutchinson and Barton. What's that been like for you?
Hadn't been very good the last 4 or 5 years because we haven't got a win. But it's a lot of fun. Love going to the sports arena. I still look up at the rafters every time and just remember. And before the game, the national anthem, I still get goosebumps being there, and just brings back a lot of memories. And thinking of my father taking me to games. And it's a great rivalry now with the divisions. It's a little different with East and West, but I'm really happy for Steve. I pull for them for every game, but when they're playing us, and I think we've got mutual respect, and I think our teams have a lot of respect for each other. So it's not the bloodbath that it used to, but definitely it's the biggest game on our schedule. All
right, you've got 60 seconds. Tell us about your basketball team this year.
I'm going to take 30 of it and talk about my team, and 30 to talk about you. Good group of kids. We play really hard, very quick, very athletic. We don't have any all-league guys. So we have to buy into the team concept, and I think we're going to be all right. I think we're not going to go 12-1 on the road like we did last year because we had such a phenomenal group, but I think we're going to be in the mix. We're picked middle of the pack. Hopefully we can surprise. And then I just want to thank you for everything you've done growing up, and, again, having you in class, and 50 years of what you've done. It's unreal. We're going to do something for you when you come back over here in February, but you've been a blessing to those people in Hutch. And I hear
maybe a back brace.
we might do that. We might roll you out in a chair. I'd like to get Eck out of here too, so maybe we can self-retire both of you. But I just thank you for everything you've done from the community in Hutch, and you're well respected over in these parts too. So keep up the good work. Finish strong this March.
All right, thank you very much, Coach Craig Fletcher, the head man of the Barton County Cougars. 55-31 our halftime score. Hutchinson on top of Spring Creek Academy. We're going to take a 60-second break. The second half is up next. Well, the Blue Dragons with a nice advantage here as we get ready to start the second half, 55-31. Hutchinson led in the first half by Chris Giles with 14 and an exclamation point on the half. A combination of a wonderful pass from Saquon Singleton setting up Fred Othiambo for his 10th point.
Yeah, Fred is he's coming along game by game. And the fact that he runs the floor, he's going to be rewarded quite a bit throughout this year because you can never get enough of a big man running. And it's just a good thing on Hutchinson's part that he does do that. He still may not be the leading scorer, but he's going to get some points just because he runs the floor.
Spring Creek plays it in to start the second half, and we'll see if they can tighten the gap at all against the Blue Dragons. They try an over-the-top pass, and alley-oop, overthrown out of bounds to Hutchinson.
Turnover number 14, Fred Othiambo. Just a rebound away from his first career double-double, 10 points, 9 rebounds in that opening half.
Dragons with the basketball for the first time in the second half. They play it down on the baseline. Now back to Raekwon Taylor, 17-footer, good. Raekwon, free throw line jump. And Hutchinson leads at 57-31.
And down on the other end, taking it to the hoop, is Abdul Hachim for his first bucket of the game.
So the teams trade baskets to open the second half of play. Hutchinson has it back. Taylor on the wing, fakes the jump shot, plays it beautifully inside, and there's an inside basket by Rojas, and he is fouled. Nice unselfish play from the corner by Blue Dragon Raekwon Taylor. And Rojas, the beneficiary of the pass, gets the basket and will get a free throw.
It's Raekwon's first assist of the game, but in the opener this year against Northeast Nebraska, he had 6 assists.
And his free throw is good, so he is off to a nice start with a dozen. And Hutchinson leads at 60-33. Antonio Romanelli bothered out front by Chris Giles. Trapped on the sideline. Not getting a lot done other than dribbling. Finally gives it off. And Johnson hits a jumper from the free throw line. Tyrus Ben Johnson, pretty good shooter, his 4th basket. And it is 60-35.
He created it all on himself. Drove, and then a little step back 3 to finish.
Dragons try to go inside. Othiambo can't handle the pass. Taken away by Spring Creek. They run the floor beautifully and get a layup from Elijah Bishop.
He now has 13, and again, big man running the floor, getting the points.
60-37. Raekwon Taylor lobs it down deep to Singleton. Back to the corner to Giles. Giles into the paint. Teardrop inside is good. Chris Giles continues a wonderful game with 16. 18 minutes to play. Romanelli harassed out front on the dribble. Takes it to the right side. Lost the ball, got it back. Shot clock at 15. They swing it to the left side of the floor. Johnson. Now it is Garrett. Top of the key, head on 3, missed. Rebound Rojas. Rojas brings it up for Hutchinson. Rojas on the drive. Runs into a defender. That's liable to be a charge on Big James, and that is the call. Nice job of taking the charge for the Spartans by Donald Garrett.
And that's transition defense. That's running the floor the other way. If you don't have transition defense, you're going to give up tons of points. And that time, Harris came back and did a nice job drawing the charge. And it'll be the third foul on James Rojas.
Rojas just simply took one step more than he should have. Stopped a step sooner and swung it to the outside. He was trying to be very unselfish, but his momentum carried him into the defender. Short-range jump shot rolls off for William Fum, but it's followed up and in. And it'll be Elijah Bishop again. Bishop continues a good game. He has 15. 62-39. Hutchinson in control. Raekwon Taylor at the free throw line, looking for the pass down deep. Goes instead to Giles on the wing. Back out front, Singleton. Inside, Big Fred. And he's being held by Abdul Rasul Hachim, and that'll be foul number 4.
Just trying to defend it from behind and got two hands into the back of Big Fred.
It just doesn't look right to look up at the scoreboard and see 4 fouls on number 6. Dragons inbound. Rojas working hard, in close, up and good. Big James with his 5th field goal and his 14th point.
Good body control. That's a near steal by Saquon Singleton. But Rojas showing good post presence with good body control, trying to draw the contact, but still finishing strong. It didn't get the call, but he got the deuce.
Hutchinson by 25, 17 minutes to play. Dragons back in action here Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock against Redlands. Hutchinson goes for the steal on the inbounds pass, doesn't get it, but recovers defensively. Handling for Spring Creek is William Fum. He brings it out front between the circles. Shot clock at 15. Guarded out front by Giles. Fum plays it off to the side. Now 8 shot clock. They try to go back door to Romanelli and throw it away.
That was just good defense on Saquon Singleton. He recognized right away that Romanelli was going to back cut him, and he took any angle away for the pass to be completed. Nice job by Saquon.
Saquon cross-courts it. Taylor has it on the far side, out in three-point country, uses up his dribble, gives it to Rojas. Now back high, Raekwon drives, takes it to the inside, to the glass, doesn't get it. Rebound follow is up and good. Othiambo has 12.
And now his first career double-double, that offensive rebound, his 10th of the game. First career double-double for Big Fred.
66-39. There's a move by Elijah Bishop. Lost it, got it back. Gets it out to Romanelli. A long-range shot by Romanelli is good, just inside the three-point line. 66-41. Hutchinson back the other way. Nice pass. Rojas lays it up and in. Chris Giles with a wonderful pass. Now the long pass to the other end, and a shot is missed. Rebounded by the Dragons. 15.5 to play. Hutchinson with the basketball. Behind the back, Giles penetrates, gives it to Singleton. Dances down the baseline, gives it to Taylor. In the paint, jumper good. Raekwon Taylor.
Dragons off to a furious start here in the second half. They are now 7 of 10 starting the second half from the field.
William Fum out front. Off to Garrett. 5 new Dragons ready to check in. Spartans have some talent, have played with enthusiasm, but have been out-muscled by the Dragons. There's an underhand scoop by Garrett missing. Rebound Hutchinson. Giles has it. And slows it down, holds it out front. Left side to Rojas. Rojas drives baseline and is fouled en route by Donald Garrett.
That'll be his first. And once again, James Rojas showing a little bit of patience, kind of surveying it, was one-on-one with the defender and took him with the left hand, and all he could do was foul.
14:40 to play, 70-41. Rusty Hilston, Steve Carpenter with you from Great Bend. Dragons get the ball to a cutting Boubacar Kumasoko, and he is fouled. So Boubacar will get a couple of free throws, and he'll have a chance to join the scoring parade.
William Fum picks up his second foul. Actually, DJ Mitchell will step to the line.
Okay.
DJ had a nice first half, 9 points, 3 for 3 from the stripe.
Free throw, good. One more coming.
Rest, you get the feeling this Blue Dragon team's going to have a lot of versatility to it. You still want them to work inside out, but when needed, they can really crank up the running game. This is going to be a very interesting team to watch all year.
1 of 2 at the free throw line. Rebound cleared away by the Spartans. Hutchinson has a lot of players. They can go pretty deep. Ball almost tossed away, saved on the side on a nice hustle by Garrett. Now at the top of the key, Hachim goes inside. Underhand scoop, no good. Foul, though, on the Dragons will send Tyrus Johnson to the free throw line.
DJ Mitchell picks up the foul, and that's one thing that Steve Eck is really working on. Got to remember, you have a bunch of freshmen. They're still learning the fundamentals of the game, and the fact that freshmen can bite on head fakes as much as anything, Steve Eck is really pushing them to stay down on the floor. DJ Mitchell stays down. He does not commit that foul.
1 of 2 at the free throw line. And the Blue Dragon advantage is 29.
Whistle away from the ball. And they're going to call Josh Perkins with the foul.
Josh saying, I'm not getting very many whistles here in this game. Got a couple in the first half, but unfortunately they were fouls.
Picks up his third.
It's an adjustment. Bounce, jump stop, basket. Nice work down the lane by Donald Garrett. And he'll go to the free throw line. And that's Josh Perkins now with 4 fouls. A big discussion down on the floor, but we're ready to shoot free throw. It'll be Garrett.
Some interesting news from the NFL. Des Bryant had just signed with the Saints. Tore his Achilles in practice today, so he didn't even get to play a game for the Saints.
The Saints would have been unbelievably good offensively with Bryant. They're not bad without him. Free throw is good. It is 71-45. Hutchinson with the basketball. Komisoko now away from the ball, a foul call.
There's a lot of physicality away from the ball. I think really what Spring Creek is doing, they're trying to jam up the lane to really just kind of pop the Dragon cutters. That time a foul called on just that.
Dragons play it in. Tyler Brown out of the corner, misses the 3. A rebound cleared away by the Spartans. Thumb gets it off to Romanelli, who gets loose, fires from the free throw line, doesn't get it. Offensively rebounded, but then thrown away. Blue Dragons will play it as the outlet pass went away and went out of bounds right at the half-court marker.
Yep, Hachim split 2 of his own teammates right down the middle. Neither had a chance to get it. Turnover number 15 on the Spartans. Tyler
Brown plays on the left side to Komisoko. Now comes back to Singleton. Back to Komisoko. Komisoko, 10-footer, doesn't get it. Rebound, Thumb for the Spartans. Thumb drives, collision, and they're going to call an offensive foul on Hachim, and that'll be 5 by my books.
Saquon Singleton taking the charge. And
now that is 4.
Only 4.
Okay. Dragons long pass the forecourt. They've got numbers. They've got a drive to the basket that doesn't go, but free throws coming for Malik Jacobs.
Yeah, you can be highly critical sometimes of teams when they have a big lead like this. Hutchinson leading by 26. Right now, it was 5.
I thought it was. They called there was some confusion. The foul was on Hachim, and it was his 5th, but they credited the foul to William Thumb.
Okay.
It was his 4th.
Right.
Now, take that foul away, but Hachim is finished with a quiet night of just 2 points.
First free throw by Malik Jacobs is good.
Dragons have done a very nice job at the free throw line.
Yeah, that's nice. That's just, that's one facet of this whole thing that needs to come together for Hutchinson. But my point before was the little things that they're not doing where this, instead of being, this could be 92-45 right now, and it's just a learning process the Dragons have to go through with so many freshmen.
And now it's the Dragons charged with a foul. Won't be any free throws.
Malik Jacobs gets his first.
Ball inbounded on the baseline, tossed way out high. Fum has it. Gets it off to Garrett. Garrett works baseline, cut off, brings it back out front, and the three is good by Ben Johnson.
Johnson with 13, a couple of threes here in the second half. This Spring Creek team does have some athletes, not a lot of depth, so I wonder what they're going to be like after they get done with Butler on Sunday when they played their fourth game in 3 days.
There's a nice drive by Singleton, dishes it off. Dragons play it out, and the jumper from the side doesn't go for Malik Jacobs. And then a foul called out front, and DJ Mitchell not happy with the call.
But it was hustle. It was the hustle. I guess the foul happened before that. But Tyler Brown really put a body on somebody, got a box out, but unfortunately the whistle had already blown. And the foul call on DJ, his second.
Spartans with the basketball, trailing by 24, 72-48. Working around the perimeter. And now an illegal screen.
I have a funny feeling that was a makeup call.
You wouldn't say officials would do that, would you?
The third foul on Donald Ray Garrett. Oh, they have from time to time.
Long three-pointer for the Dragons is in and out. Rebound follow doesn't go. Comasoko missed the first one. Dragons couldn't get the follow to drop. Rebound grabbed by Spring Creek. There's a drive, a bank shot off the glass. Tyrus Johnson's a pretty good player. He has 14 points. He's impressed me.
Yeah, Tyrus Johnson and Elijah Bishop, the two big scorers for Spring Creek this year. If indeed that, a prep school where they're really practicing their craft, those two are going to get some notices here before too long.
Three-pointer from the right side is good, and now Boubacar Comasoko has scored. For Boubacar, a three-pointer opening the evening scoring, and the Hutchinson lead is 25 at 75-50.
He becomes the 9th Dragon into the scorebook. Once again, balanced scoring for this Hutchinson team.
Nice ball movement, and then they settle for a three. Why not? William Fum knocks down his second tray of the game. 75-53. And a whistle at the other end. Officials starting to call this one tight, and Steve, you're right. The game's getting a little physical.
Yeah, it's, I don't know if that's just a reflex by Spring Creek, kind of getting, early on they were kind of getting pushed around, but now they're fighting back with little elbows through the lane, stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that in a game like this could cause some ugliness down the stretch. Hutchinson, the players need to keep their heads about themselves.
And the Dragons hit the free throw. There'll be another one. Mitchell backed off like he didn't think he was going to get another one.
But yeah, I was wondering why he was leaving the line there. You usually get two in college basketball in the United States. It's not the old 3 to make 2 in the NBA they used to have.
There are a lot of rules that needed to be buried. That was one of them. Second free throw doesn't go, but a nice offensive rebound by the Dragons. Slipping in to grab it was Jacobs. Back out front, Tyler Brown. What's better than 2? How about 3? Tyler Brown.
His 4th three-pointer in 2 games. He has 6, 79-53, and now a Dragon steal.
And Dragons can't get it up floor. Nice job of double teaming in the backcourt by Spring Creek, getting the ball back for the Spartans. 79-53. Spartans throw long. Dragons are back defensively. Three-pointer by Fum is missed. The rebound scramble is on, and the Dragons can't save it. Saquon Singleton tried to dance down the end line and keep from going out of bounds. Then he went out of bounds, tried to save it back in. And for all of his efforts, a lot of nice dance moves, but ball to Spring Creek.
Scott Goodhart kept trying to blow the whistle, but he kept getting hit by the Dragon player.
There's a nice drive again by Tyrus Ben Johnson. Dragons are fouling, and Johnson will go back to the free throw line with 2 tosses.
That'll be Malik Jacobs' 2nd foul of the game.
Dragons will play Redlands here tomorrow afternoon. Redlands 0-2 going into tonight's matchup with Barton. Free throw is good by Johnson.
Redlands, just looking at their numbers, defense, they're having some issues.
Oh, yeah.
110 a game they've given up.
I'm going to tell you, you better be remarkable offensively if you're going to get many wins when you give up 110. Dragons continue to make a batch of substitutions. Rojas back in there. He plays with 4 fouls. Won't be a factor in what is right now a 25-point game as the second free throw by Foam is missed. Rebounded away by Raekwon Taylor for the Dragons. Singleton drives. Singleton bounces inside, draws a foul. He'll shoot 2.
Adele Mellick with his second, just reached over trying to block the shot and got a lot of Saquon Singleton. It's good to see Saquon playing. He took a shot to the back of the head down at Enid on Tuesday, and I didn't play a lot of the second half, but obviously cleared of any concussion protocol, and he's played pretty strong today. Just 4 points, but he's had a very nice floor game.
And goes 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 5 points for the young man from the Bronx. 80-54. Fum off to Bishop. Back to Fum on the right side. Dragons man-to-man. Fum penetrates, tosses it to Romanelli. Romanelli can't get his shot up. Brings it back out front. And a whistle way away from the basketball and a foul called on Hutchinson. It's on Raekwon Taylor.
Not a big grab. Right now this game being called very tight. Going back to the physicality of a couple of minutes ago, Raekwon trying to figure exactly what he did.
And this will send Adele Mellick to the free throw line for 2.
Already 18 combined fouls in this half, and we're not even 10 minutes in.
Mellick's free throw is good. Coming up on the media timeout. Nearing the 10-minute mark of the second half. Second free throw is good. 80-56. Teams have played on even terms in the second half. Dragons led by 24 at halftime. They still do. There's a baseline drive and a blocking call.
And the only reason that was a block is because Romanelli was in the restricted area. It was pretty clear that Malik Jacobs had that arm extended. And if he was anywhere outside the restricted area, that would have gone the other way as a charge against Malik Jacobs. But fortunately for him and the Blue Dragons, Romanelli was in the restricted area.
And the young man from Wilmington, North Carolina, tosses a free throw up and good. Glenn Grunwald will be back over here tomorrow afternoon for the matchup between Hutchinson and Redlands. And we'll have Blue Dragon basketball here and football from Gowan Stadium. Football game tomorrow at noon. Both free throws good by Jacobs. Hutchinson 82-56.
Can't forget about National Cross Country going on at the same time as those other 2 events out in Garden City. A couple of nationally ranked Blue Dragon teams going after some big-time hardware out there.
Romanelli hits a long three-pointer. 82-59. We're under the 10-minute mark now.
That's 4 3-pointers in the second half for Spring Creek.
Singleton misses a 3. Rebound cleared away by the Spartans. They throw long to the corner. Dragons are back defensively. Bring the ball back out front. Fum loads up a 3, doesn't get it, and off the side of the rim it goes out of bounds, and that should bring the media timeout. And it will. 9:24 to go in our basketball game. Hutchinson cruising 82-59. We'll return with more basketball in 1 minute. Well, the game going pretty much as at least I expected. How about you, Steve?
Indeed, Hutchinson shooting 52.6% for the game. 9 of 16 here in the second half. That's almost 57%. But Spring Creek, 10 of 17 in the second half, 58%. Their shot percentage has increased to 44. So Dragon defense not nearly as effective here in half number 2 as half number 1.
3-point try, Rojas missed. Ball pops loose, tracked down by Spring Creek. Spartans go to Romanelli, another 3 in the air, and another 3 good. Romanelli has 8 points, all of those coming in the second half. And a little mini run for the Cougars, who have cut the deficit to 20.
Now 6 of 15 from three-point range for Spring Creek. Romanelli with his second, he has 8.
Jacobs crosses over, drives the lane, draws a foul. I think they called it on Romanelli.
They did, his second. Again, Hutchinson already in the double bonus. Hutchinson 10 of 13 from the foul line, or excuse me, 17 of 22 from the foul line. Spring Creek 10 of 13. Hutchinson with a 31-30 rebounding advantage.
Free throw is up and in by Malik Jacobs, who's gone 4 of 5, with one more coming. Dragons have been solid for the most part at the free throw line. Jacobs buries 2.
You know, it's where I see a big plus for this Dragon team is, Rusty, is the fact that it's not one person scoring the team high every night. It has been very balanced, but it's been different people scoring the big numbers on different nights.
Saquon thought he had a good block, but instead he'll be called for getting on the arm of Tyrus Johnson. And that will be 2 free throws for Tyrus Johnson, who with 15 points leads the scoring for Spring Creek. Now he has 16.
And the reason that balance is good is you can't key on one person. You know, in 2013, 2014, you could key on Kadeem Allen. He was just that good. The second free throw was good. But there's no one person to key on this 2018-19 Blue Dragon team, which makes them even more dangerous.
And I like the depth of this squad, which means that Coach Eck, if he's got somebody that he doesn't think is playing as hard as he ought, he's got a replacement that he can send in without any appreciable drop-off.
Tyrus Ben Johnson whistled for his 3rd foul, displacing James Rojas away from the ball. So Rojas gets a couple of free throws here at the 8:23 mark. 16 points for Big James tonight.
Free throw all the way around the equator and out. One more coming.
His first miss, he's now 4 of 5.
Young man set all kinds of scoring records back in New York. Second free throw good. Was hampered by fouls a lot last year. And one can only hope that with the increased depth of the Blue Dragons this year, that's not going to be as big an issue.
Now, the less minutes you have to play early is the more minutes you get down the stretch. So, you know, we can talk about the depth of this team till we're blue in the face. It's a key and central part of what Steve Eck hopes will be a nice long run here in 2018-19.
Shot out of the corner is missed. Rebounded by Rojas. Dragons run the floor, long pass to Malik Jacobs. Tries to dish it inside. It is fumbled away. And then Saquon single and says, I'll take care of business, guys. He has his 3rd basket, 7th point, and Hutchinson leads it 87-64.
Pass too low for Rojas, but because Saquon, there's a block shot on the other end by Rojas.
Dragons get the takeaway. Singleton drives, puts up the floater, doesn't get it. Offensive follow, Raekwon Taylor.
Now you wonder if fatigue's not catching up with Spring Creek.
And there's a silly foul at the other end by Raekwon Taylor, who had let his man get a step on him, just reached out in frustration, called a foul, and got called for a foul.
Second foul on Taylor. Now both teams in the double bonus. Right now, honestly, if you look, I've been kind of watching the last couple of minutes. Spring Creek is actually playing defense 4-on-5, and they're trying to cherry pick. You've got a couple of players, 1 or 2 players leaning back and taking off as soon as they have the ball. And it's worked to a small extent, but you're not going to beat a team as good as Hutchinson doing that.
Well, Hutchinson going deep into its bench. This was a 55-31 game at halftime. The teams have played just about even in the second half, but the Dragons have played a lot of non-starters in the second half. 89-66, Rojas has it. Rojas stops, medium range jump shot, doesn't get it. Rebound cleared out by Eddie Bishop. Bishop tosses it cross court to Fum, who makes an athletic catch, then can't hang on to it. It's stolen away by Rojas. Rojas dishes ahead. Singleton puts up the shot, got fouled. He'll shoot 2. When the Dragons are running the floor, they are something to watch.
And it's a 5-man rush. I mean, you could equate that to a breakaway in hockey. It is something to behold because you've got your bigs running. How many times this year, if you've got bigs from another team that just don't or can't run, how many easy baskets are the Dragons going to get just based on their bigs running?
Singleton hits the free throw. He has 8. Be nice to see Saquon become a good free thrower because he's so good at driving to the inside. Has struggled in the early portion of the season at the free throw line, but so far 2 out of 3 this afternoon. Second one is not good.
put the hex on him.
And not very close either, to be honest. So it's 90-66, 7 minutes to go. There's penetration, kick to the outside. A drive by Fum, a big collision, and that's going to be offensive foul on William Fum. And now he has 4.
Saquon Singleton taking the charge. He's kind of right in the middle of that rest. He likes taking those charges and giving his body up. That's the 4th charge he's taken this year, 2nd tonight.
And there's a timeout. This will be a short one. We're going to take a 30-second break with the Dragons up 24. Seven minutes to play in this basketball game. Pretty good chance that the Dragons are going to crack the century mark for the 2nd game in a row. And they only missed it by 1 in the season opener. Put 99 up in that win over Northeast Nebraska to get things started. There's a drive to the inside. Good idea, but the Dragons turn it over. Taken and missed at the other end by Johnson. And Dragons come up with a rebound. DJ Mitchell gets it.
I mean, that was Big Fred altering that shot, now going up the other end. Big Fred just walks into a Spring Creek player and end up committing a offensive foul.
Well, when he's looking straight ahead, he's looking over the top of a lot of folks. I didn't see it.
You know, he wasn't looking at all. He just ran into him, and the referee whistled him for the foul, hoping it might have been a little incidental contact, but the referees didn't see it that way.
Spring Creek playing the first of 4 games in 30 hours. There's a nice drive on the baseline. Good hustle by Garrett. Didn't get the shot. He will get a pair of free throws.
Raquan Taylor, his 3rd foul. There's no give up in this Spring Creek team. They continue to hustle. They continue to do what they do, and that's sprint the ball up the floor and try to take it to the hoop.
Free throw is good by Garrett.
You know, it's 10, 5 for 5 from the line, a 2 and a 3 in the opening half without a field goal here in the second.
Second one missed. The hex works at both ends of the floor. Rebounded away by Othiambo, who has a bunch of those. Dragons drive inside, and the shot won't go for Giles. Follow shot won't go for Perkins, but he was fouled.
You'd sure like to see Josh Perkins go up a lot stronger than he did. He was trying to finesse it and fortunately got fouled, but you would like to see him power that thing up and not, he doesn't have to dunk it, but at least power it up, shield out the body of with his body of the defender, and so he can take care of business, but he'll get 2 free throws.
Young man comes from, I would guess, the only town in America whose name starts out YP.
Ypsilanti, Michigan.
One more shot coming, as the first one was good for Perkins. but not the second. And a rebound taken away by Spring Creek. Romanelli off to the side. Jump shot from medium range doesn't go. Scramble for the rebound. Tyler Brown lost it out of bounds. Couldn't find the handle. And we are going to see Jorkley Kaniki. Kaniki from Nigeria.
We're getting challenged with these names. You need to come to the National Volleyball Tournament and do some of the Polynesian and Brazilian volleyball names with me here in a couple of weeks.
I can imagine. Shot from the side, missed. Nobody controls the rebound. It'll stay with Spring Creek.
In case you were wondering, we mentioned earlier Fredo Thiambo's first double-double. He's at 12 points, 12 rebounds right now.
Spring Creek continuing to play hard, as Steve points out, but the Blue Dragons have been in control. There's Romanelli penetrating, dashes it back to the wing to Eddie Bishop, misses a three. Long rebound snared by Johnson. They go down underneath, don't get it. Boy, I tell you what, that's great effort on their part. And Romanelli puts the punctuation mark on it with his third three of the second half. That was great hustle.
That was all Donald Ray Garrett, getting to not only a couple of rebounds, but saving a ball in the corner and throwing it out to Romanelli to hit finally and ultimately hit the three-point shot.
DJ Mitchell to Perkins. Perkins at the top of the key to Giles on the side. Giles drives all the way to the basket, lays it up and in. Giles with 18. 93-70 Dragons. 5 minutes to play.
Good recognition by Giles. Saw the wide open lane, just took it to the right hand and scored.
There's a three-pointer from the other side that isn't good by Garrett. Rebounded by the Dragons. Outlet to DJ Mitchell. Mitchell stops, cross courts it to Giles. Giles drives baseline, drives underneath. Can't reverse it up, but takes a shot anyhow and will get a couple of free throws for his efforts.
The fact that Chris Giles doesn't go to the free throw line was, in essence, a play by a shortstop. He took that short hop pass cross court, but instead of trying to catch it on the fly, he recognized he wasn't going to pick it clean, so he short hopped it and then took it to the line. That's the sign of a smart basketball player.
And the free throw is good. I like Chris Giles a lot. I think he's going to be a solid guard for the Dragons.
Well, he's got Division I experience at OU, and he can bring that, and hopefully the rest of the team kind of picks up on his little idiosyncrasies and how he goes about his business, not only during games but in practice.
Got both free throws, and the Dragons are 5 away from 100 with 4.5 left. 95-70. Spring Creek takes a jumper out of the corner. It is missed by Eddie Bishop. Rebounded by the Dragons. It's Giles on the drive. Giles lost it, got it back. He's in traffic, loops it to the corner. Mitchell fires a three, got it.
How did Chris Giles fight him? He was in the land of the Giants and just snapped a pass around somebody's back out to DJ Mitchell, who nailed the three.
We have seen a couple of amazing assists in this game. Singleton had one at the end of the first half. It was terrific. Another missed shot from the perimeter, another rebound by the Dragons, who throw long, and there's showtime as Mitchell flushes it at the other end. DJ Mitchell makes it 100-70 with 3:54 to go. We have a timeout taken by Spring Creek. Let's pause half a minute. $100-54, or rather 100-70 with 3:54 to go in the game. I'll get it straight, Steve. Come on, I've been at this for 50 years.
Yeah,
I get a little tongue-tied occasionally.
I wonder how many 100-point games you've done.
I have no idea. I can tell you that I've done about 5,000 games in all.
I know for the Blue Dragons, this is all-time number 100 game 279. I can tell you that much.
That's why you're the SID. And a good one, I might add.
Thank you.
All right, Spring Creek trailing by 30. Loop it down on the baseline. Dragons get a steal, but unable to keep from going out of bounds after swiping the pass was DJ Mitchell.
Yeah, the Blue Dragons out of that timeout, 56% in the second half, 14-25. Now 53% for the game. Spring Creek has cooled off to 43% shooting in the second half, 12 out of 28.
Boubacar Komisoko in the lineup now for the Dragons as Romanelli holds out front. Goes high post with it. Johnson drives. His shot rejected out of bounds. Was that Perkins that got the block?
No, DJ Mitchell.
It was Mitchell, okay.
Fred Otiambo with 4. That was the 6th total block shot. And I think there were actually a couple of shots that were blocked that didn't get registered.
Baseline jumper doesn't go. Offensive rebound, though, does. Nice work on the baseline for Spring Creek's Donald Garrett. Dragons bring it back the other way. Brown goes inside. Perkins in close. Banks it up and in.
Now that was body control on Josh Perkins. Spun. Didn't have the drive to the hoop. Just powered up and scored. That was a solid post move by Josh Perkins.
102-72. Johnson at the free throw line. Gives to Romanelli. Tyler Brown on Romanelli. Back to Johnson. Johnson says, clear out, I'm going to do something with it. Tosses it down on the baseline. Now back to the wing. Shot blocked by the Dragons. Scramble for it. They still fight for it. Saved by Spring Creek, and the shot clock expired. Well, they're going to say they got the shot off in time. Dragons come away with the rebound of the miss, and the ball should have gone back to the Dragons. Was fielded by Spring Creek with a foot on the baseline, but the shot is up and good.
13 turnovers on the Dragons turns into points on the other end for Donald Ray Garrett, who now has 14 points in the game. Check that, 17.
There's a baseline drive and a foul called. Long basketball game because of all the fouls. We're going to try to get out of here before the 5 o'clock newscast, guys, but be forewarned. We may be a little longer than that.
Steve Eck does have a trek up here. It's not like you can come out of the locker room and walk down the floor. We are high above the Barton gym, where we've been for many years.
Brown hits the free throw.
We've seen some dandy ball games out of this press box when the Blue Dragons and the Cougars get after it.
Dragons have had the better of things here of late. You could see a little bit, you could hear just a little bit of frustration in Coach Fletcher's voice when he talked about that, too. Craig, a longtime friend of a lot of folks in Hutchinson and a really good basketball coach.
And it was really neat to see the run they made at the tournament last year, finally getting in, and it was fun to watch.
And getting loose on the baseline, Johnson gets a basket and will get a free throw.
And that will foul Josh Perkins out of the game.
So he finishes his evening with 3 points for the Dragons, fouling out with 1:55 to go.
He's one of those young men that as the season goes on, he gets a little more experience. He's going to learn some things and be very beneficial. Talking about that post depth, that the overall depth, but the post depth, Josh Perkins, before this season is said and done, is going to have a lot to say about it.
Free throw is good. 3-point play by Ben Johnson. 103-76. For the Dragons, DJ Mitchell to Tyler Brown. Brown drives, tries to dish inside, bailed out by the quickness of DJ Mitchell. Wasn't a good pass, but Mitchell came up with it. Now to Brown on the wing. Brown mismatched as he's covered by 6'10", Adele Mellick. Now Brown gets rid of it, fires up a long three, doesn't get it. Rebound, Giles keeps it alive for Hutch, shovels it inside. Ball loose, Dragons retrieve, pass to the far side. Baseline turnaround, good. Quite a shot by Boubacar Komisoko.
He has 5. Now on the other end, sprinting is Tyrus Ben Johnson. He's going to get a couple of free throws just because of hustle. Komisoko with the foul, his second. So once again, these are the things that Coach Eck is going to stress. Some shaky rebounding at times, some defense where they were just beating off the dribble, and that time transition defense. Those three things have added to Spring Creek scoring 77 on what is normally a very good Blue Dragon defensive team.
Yeah, and the Dragons haven't probably rebounded the way Coach Eck would have liked. But all in all, it's going to be a very successful afternoon. 102 for Johnson at the free throw line. 106-78. Clock moving toward a minute to play. Brown drives inside, dishes it off. Shot is up and good, high off the window, and a foul goes with it. Nice assist. The shot finished by DJ Mitchell, but a lot of credit to Mr. Tyler Brown.
18 points now for DJ. That's a season high. And again, different people having bigger games at different times.
And Mellick fouled him, so DJ with another opportunity.
John Onches and Phil Anderson from the women's staff here. They're going to be scouting out not only tomorrow's opponent in NEO, but also Barton, as they will play them twice in the conference season.
In close, 2 points scored by Elijah Bishop. These kids are going to be pretty good in time for Spring Creek.
Very athletic team, and that if you use it right and use your fundamentals, they could turn into a very positive team.
And another foul will send the Dragons back to the free throw line.
Del Mellick with the foul, his fourth.
And to the free throw line, DJ.
Looking to take over game high honors. Now he ties Chris Giles with 20 points. First time this year, 2 Blue Dragons have reached 20.
And the 110 points the Dragons have scored is a season high.
Yes, it is.
By 1. Pretty nice week so far. Second free throw good. Dragons scored now 220 points in 2 games this week.
It's pretty good average. That's about what Redlands is giving up the last couple games.
There's a three-pointer that is good for Redlands. Ben Johnson.
He's got 24, and that leads all scorers in the game. Shot clock is off.
And one would think that the Dragons would say a 111 is enough and just hold it out front, and I think that's what's going to happen. Again, we're going to try to wrap things up as quickly as we can here. Hopefully, Coach will get up here. We need to visit with the Hutchinson coach, but the Dragons have won this one. Our final 111-83. Back in a couple of minutes with postgame.
And your final score, the number 9 ranked Hutchinson Blue Dragons, 111. Spring Creek Spartans, 83. Ladies and gentlemen, these 2 teams will be back here tomorrow in action. The Hutchinson men will play at 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon versus Redlands Community College. And Spring Creek Academy will be back here tomorrow evening at 7:30 to take on your Barton Community College Cougars. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to cheer on your Barton Community College Lady Cougars as they face
They brought it back.
2019 in the NCAA, the Northeastern Oklahoma Lady Norse. Tip time for that game will be 5:30.
There's still 1/10 of a second to play. Well, the Blue Dragons take care of business, put up 111 points, and dispatch the Spartans of Spring Creek Academy 111-83. This is the Medicine Shop end of game capsule. The Medicine Shop would like you to know that they think they can save you some money. A lot of you are out there are in the same situation that I'm in. You're interested in your Medicare Part D insurance. You have from now until December 7th to make a change if you so choose. And the Medicine Shop would like you to drop by, bring a list of your medications with you. They'll look at those medications, look at the plans out there that are available, and see which one will save you the most money. And I'm going to tell you, folks, it's all about saving money, particularly when you get a little bit older, as I have. You don't want to spend money frivolously. The Medicine Shop can help you out. Steve, just a solid performance by the Blue Dragons.
It really was. You can get nitpicky about certain things, about certain transition defense sequences, not blocking out at times. But, yeah, a very solid performance. They took care of business in terms of the Blue Dragons on both ends of the floor primarily. They got a big lead. They maintained it. Sure, Spring Creek, they made a few runs at them, but the Dragons not only withheld them, but then kind of regathered themselves and pulled away again. Very solid victory for Hutchinson.
And again, 5 players in double figures for the Blue Dragons, and Saquon Singleton only 1 basket behind.
Yeah, he's a very solid floor game for Saquon. I just kind of like the way this team is trending right now. A lot of balance, a lot of different players scoring in different times. Like again, tonight it was it was Chris Giles, it was DJ Mitchell. Those two had their big nights tonight. James Rojas had a big night tonight. Rebounding, they ended up -1, but Fred Othiambo, his first career double-double, 13 and 12. So a lot of positives to build on. But if I know Coach Eck, he's going to look at those negatives and really try to pound those and get those fixed before he expounds on any positives.
Well, if you're going to play basketball at this level, these kids all come in, they have offensive skills. You kind of anticipate that they're going to be able to do that. A good coach says, I can separate my team from the others in junior college basketball by teaching some of the skills that so many kids don't come blessed with. They have the talent, the ability to play defense, but most of them don't. They need to learn how to move their feet and so forth. Those are the things that the good coaches will focus on.
It would be nice if they had a little, I think college basketball players 20, 25 years ago had a much more firm feedback. He can Arizona runs. Or trips back to Michigan or even back east. But, in the last 30-some-odd years, the Blue Dragons never left the sports arena or very rarely left the sports arena. There might have been a rare trip out to Coffeyville or something, stuff like that. But, honestly, November was all home Blue Dragon games. I like the fact they're getting out. It gives them different types of looks, different types of atmospheres.
Coach Eck is here, so we're going to go ahead and close out the game portion of our broadcast. Stay with us. Our visit with the Hutchinson coach, that's up next. All right, we are joined by Hutchinson coach Steve Eck after the Blue Dragons get their second win away from the sports arena in a row this week. Tonight, 111-83 over the Spartans of Spring Creek. And what did you think, Coach?
I think I'm echoing. Okay. It's a tough team to play. They played a decent first half, 55-31, got up. It's just afternoon game, the first one we played. I wasn't really pleased. The other teams got some talent. We barely outscored them in the second half, gave up 52 points. That's nothing I didn't expect, to tell you the truth. I didn't think we kept our focus the entire game.
You got to play a lot of kids.
I did that. We did play a lot, but like I said, we just gave too many layups, too many fast break points, open shots. I mean, we was out of it. And we could play Enid Tuesday really well and get after them, get hard, and then we just didn't do it today.
What do you hope to get out of your basketball team? You just played the second of 5 games in a row away from the sports arena. What do you hope to accomplish with this 5-game team, other than to get a bunch of wins?
Just to get some continuity, establish our defense, and offense-wise, make sure we move the ball around. Make sure we move the ball around and give it up. Tonight we had 20 assists. Out of 38 baskets, that sounds good, but it's not as good as it could have been. So, but we shot 54%. I didn't care for the second half. It couldn't get over fast enough for me.
You made Big Fred a factor on offense.
Well, he did the same thing at Eaner too in the first 13 minutes. Then they fronted and played in front and played behind him, took him away, took him out of it. But Fred's he's getting better. He's going to keep on getting better, and against a physical team, we'll see what he does.
I love the fact that I don't think there's one player that opponents can focus on and say, if we slow this guy down, we can beat the Dragons.
That's the good thing about this team. But a couple of the freshmen need to understand that they're not going to play 40 minutes a game, and that's part of the problem right now. And everybody wants to play. I get that, but if you're going to be a KU or a Duke or something like that, you're going to share minutes. And good players do that.
Coach, we're going to take a break. We'll come back and get final thoughts from Barton right after this. All right, Coach, tomorrow you won a national championship at Redlands in Division II.
And
you won